Can I start with something a little embarrassing? Yesterday, I finally sat down for lunch, a real lunch, away from my desk. And I told myself, this time I'm just going to taste my food, be here for one meal. And then I looked down and the plate was empty. I couldn't have told you a single thing I'd eaten. The whole time, my mind had been somewhere else, rehearsing a conversation I hadn't even had yet.
A whole meal, and not one bite of it reached you. The mind was out the door before you'd picked up the fork.
Out the door, down the street, halfway across town. And the strange part is, I didn't notice it leave. By the time I looked up, 10 minutes were gone.
That, right there, is what we're going to sit with today. Have you ever noticed how fast the mind leaves home? One worry, one memory, one what if, and suddenly the whole heart is somewhere else, and nobody seems to be running the house. Dear friends, hello, and welcome to Compassionate Words from the Buddhas. I'm Leo.
And I'm Amy. So glad you're here with us.
Today, what we'll read and sit with together is a teaching given by Jigong Living Buddha, a compassionate, enlightened guide in the tradition of the heavenly way, the home-based path of inner cultivation and outward kindness. He's known for teaching in a very direct, down-to-earth, heart-to-heart way. And the title of this teaching is Cultivating Inner and Outer, Sealing Mind with Mind.
Inner and outer. That already sounds like it's pointing at exactly what I was just describing. The part of me that wants to be still inside, and the part of me that keeps running outward.
It's pointing at precisely that. And here's the first thing to know about this particular teaching. It's what we call an acrostic instruction. The words are arranged so that a hidden message runs down through them. In the original language, if you take the first word of each of the 8 lines and read them straight down, ne, wai, shuang, shu, yi, Shin, Yin, Shin. They spell out the title itself. Cultivate the inner and the outer, both together, until your own heart and the original heart are sealed as one. So the structure isn't decoration. The shape of the poem is the lesson.
So the title is hidden inside the body of the teaching, top to bottom.
Exactly. And those 8 words, they aren't really about some far-off ideal. They're about you. About what's running the house of your mind right now while you listen. Amy, would you read the 8 lines for us first so we can hear the whole shape before we slow down?
Of course. Inwardly, deliver yourself. Gather back the mind that has run outward, and in constant stillness, watch and examine your own heart. Outwardly, walk the way. Let your actions wash the heart clean, and purity appears, the original heart that nothing can stain. Hold both cultivations together. Dissolve the heart that sorts right from wrong, and the subtle light shines forth, the heart that, having heard the way, will not let go. Cultivate to what is real, the heart that turns from delusion to awakening, and meeting this rare chance, the heart that comes to feel what heaven feels. Through tending the body, set yourself right and help others stand. And through nourishing your nature, go deep, the heart of purification. When the heart's thoughts are upright, remove the heart of pride, and diligently carry others home, the heart that returns to the true road. Confirm the way in living, the heart that carries the teaching into the world, and with the Dharma that transcends the world, be a hermit who never leaves home. Heart, do not forget. Let the true master run the house. Heart, do not lose your way. Keep the heart that rises clear of the dust.
Thank you. Did you notice the word that keeps coming back, line after line? Heart. It runs through every one of them. The heart that watches itself, the heart washed clean by what we do, the heart that finds its way home. This whole teaching is a map of the heart, and the map runs from the very first move, gathering a scattered mind back home, all the way to the last, letting the true owner of that heart take charge again. Let's start at the beginning. Inwardly, deliver yourself. Gather back the mind that is run outward, and in constant stillness, watch and examine your own heart. Notice the very first instruction isn't, go fix the world. It's, come home. Gather back the mind that is run outward. That's the lunch you couldn't taste, Amy. That's the meal that vanished.
It really is. And it makes me ask, why does it run outward so easily? It's not like I decide to spin out, it just happens.
That's the honest question. And the old teachers had the same one. There's a line in the Tao Te Ching. Attain utmost emptiness, hold fast to stillness. The 10,000 things rise and fall, and I watch them return. Lao Tzu is describing a person who has stopped chasing every rising thing and instead sits still enough to watch it all come and go. He's saying, stillness isn't emptiness for its own sake. It's the only vantage point quiet enough to see the mind clearly. And the second half of our line says the same thing in fewer words. In constant stillness, watch and examine your own heart.
Can I be honest about how unstill I actually am? I'll give you a real one. Last week I was on hold with my phone company. That endless loop of hold music. Sitting there thinking, 20 minutes now. Are you serious? Do they even care that I'm a customer? This is ridiculous. One thought after another after another. And it wasn't until a real person finally picked up and said hello that I realized for that whole 20 minutes, I wasn't waiting. The thoughts were running me.
Stay right there, because that sentence is the whole practice. I wasn't waiting. The thoughts were running me. Here's what I gently offer, friends. The work in this first line isn't to scold yourself. Why am I always like this? That scolding is just one more thought taking the wheel. The work is simpler and quieter. The next time the mind floods outward like that, on hold, in line, in the middle of a task, you don't have to argue with it. Just see it. Running outward again. And in that noticing, ask, who noticed? Something in you saw the thoughts spinning. That something was never on hold at all.
So the gather it back isn't me grabbing my thoughts and forcing them quiet.
It's softer than that. It's remembering there's a home to gather back to, and that the one who can notice the mind has wandered is already home. Confucius's student Zhuangzi put the daily version of this beautifully. Each day I examine myself on 3 counts. He wasn't being hard on himself. He was building a habit of turning the gaze around, coming home to look every single day. That's our first move. Come home and look. Second line. Outwardly, walk the way. Let your actions wash the heart clean, and purity appears, the original heart that nothing can stain. Now we turn outward, and here's the surprise. The outer action isn't separate from the inner work. The doing is how the heart gets washed.
Wait, I always thought of it the other way around. You get peaceful inside first, and then you go out and do good things from that peace.
That's the common assumption, and this line quietly flips it. The serving, the helping, the showing up, that's the water. That's what scrubs the habits loose. Let me give you the picture this line ends on, though. Purity appears, the original heart that nothing can stain. There's an old line from the 6th patriarch. Fundamentally, not one single thing exists, so where could the dust ever land? He's pointing at a heart that was never actually dirty underneath. The washing doesn't manufacture a clean heart. It uncovers the one that was clean all along.
Okay, I have to confess to this one. I went to help a friend set up for her daughter's birthday, and halfway through, I caught myself redoing what she'd already done. straightening her streamers, nudging her plates. A question stopped me. Was I helping her, or just needing it to meet my own standard? The help was real, but underneath, my hands had quietly turned the kindness into control.
And notice, the moment you asked that question honestly, the washing actually began. That's the line working. The outer task showed you exactly where the heart still grips. That's not failure. That's the water finding the dirt. Third line. Hold both cultivations together. Dissolve the heart that sorts right from wrong, and the subtle light shines forth. The heart that, having heard the way, will not let go. Here's the word in the title: both. Both cultivations held together. Inner and outer aren't two projects. They're one breath in, one breath out.
And the heart that sorts right from wrong, that's the part of me that's constantly judging. This is good, that's bad, I'm right, they're wrong.
That's the one. The endlessly sorting, comparing, score-keeping mind. And notice it dissolves not by force, but when the inner and outer finally move as one. When you're not meditating in a bubble and then judging everyone the moment you walk out the door. The second half names the reward. The subtle light shines forth. When the sorting quiets even a little, something luminous that was underneath the noise gets to show. And once you've felt it, you don't want to let it go.
Fourth line. Cultivate to what is real. The heart that turns from delusion to awakening, and meeting this rare chance, the heart that comes to feel what heaven feels. I love the verb here, turns. From delusion to awakening. It doesn't say you trade in a bad heart for a brand new one.
So it's the same heart, just turned around?
The same heart, turned around. Plato had an image for exactly this 24 centuries ago. He said real learning isn't pouring knowledge into an empty vessel. It's turning the soul, like an eye, away from the shadows on the wall and toward the light. Same eye, same soul. It just had to turn. Awakening, in this line, isn't becoming someone else. It's the one you already are, finally facing the light. Its second half names the rare chance this life gives to wake, and a heart that feels as heaven feels, wide, impartial. That wideness was always yours. It only had to turn.
That's such a relief, honestly, because become a completely different person sounds exhausting. Turn around and look sounds possible.
It is possible. And it can happen in a single, ordinary moment.
Before we go further, I just want to say, if these words are landing for you the way they're landing for me, I really hope more people get to hear them.
Beautifully said. Friends, if compassionate words from the Buddhas is meaningful to you, please take a moment to like this and subscribe to our channel, Voice of Heavenly Tao, and share it with someone you love. Not for numbers, but because somewhere out there, someone needs to hear that the true owner of their heart is still in there, waiting to come home. Let's keep going. Fifth line. Through tending the body, set yourself right and help others stand. And through nourishing your nature, go deep, the heart of purification. Here you can see the inner and outer split right down the middle of one line. Tending the body, setting yourself right, that's the outer. Nourishing your nature, going deep, that's the inner. Both in one breath.
Set yourself right and help others stand. That order feels important. Yourself first, then others?
The order is the whole teaching. There's a line in the Great Learning. Those who wish to cultivate themselves first set their hearts right, and those who wish to set their hearts right first make their intentions sincere. The Confucians built an entire ladder of growth, and the bottom rung, the thing everything else stands on, is the honesty of your own heart. You can't lift someone to standing while you yourself are leaning on a lie. Set yourself right first, not out of selfishness, but so that what you offer others is solid.
That actually loosened something for me. I used to feel guilty for needing to tend to my own heart first, like it was self-centered. But you're saying the inner work isn't the opposite of helping people. It's the foundation under it.
It's the ground the whole house is built on. And notice the line keeps both halves: tend the body and nourish the nature. It never lets you keep just one. The person who only polishes the outside becomes hollow. The person who only guards the inside becomes useless to anyone. Both, together, always both.
Sixth line, and this one gets personal for a lot of us. When the heart's thoughts are upright, remove the heart of pride, and diligently carry others home, the heart that returns to the true road. Of all the things to clear out, this teaching names pride specifically. Why pride?
Because it's the sneakiest? It doesn't feel like a flaw from the inside. It feels like being right.
Exactly that. Pride is the most well-disguised guest in the house. Let me offer you the heart of this whole show, right here. A thought of pride rises. My time matters more than theirs. How could they not get something this simple? And the mistake we all make is to believe that thought is us, that it's me. But here's the turn. That thought is not you. It rose on its own. You didn't sin for it. The you that can see it rise, that one is the real owner. When we mistake the passing thought for our own self, that's the moment pride takes the wheel.
This is so me. I'll tell you a small one. I was in a checkout line and the cashier had to restart the whole transaction. I told myself I was just in a hurry. But underneath, there was this sharper thought I didn't want to look at. My time matters more than everyone else's. That was pride. And for a second, I just believed it was me.
And the practice is right there in what you just did. You looked underneath. You saw the sharper thought without letting it speak for you. That's removing the heart of pride, not pretending it isn't there, but seeing it clearly enough that it no longer gets to be the master of the house. And the second half, carry others home, flows naturally once pride steps back. When I'm not busy being right, I actually have hands free to help you. Seventh line. Confirm the way in living, the heart that carries the teaching into the world. And with the Dharma that transcends the world, be a hermit who never leaves home. Hear that phrase, a hermit who never leaves home. This is the answer to the worries so many people carry. I can't go off to a monastery, so how can I really practice?
Right. I've literally thought, I have a job and kids. I can't disappear up a mountain. So is this saying I don't have to?
It's saying the mountain is right where you are. To be a hermit who never leaves home is to keep the still, clear, unhooked heart of a monk, while standing at the sink, sitting in the meeting, driving the kids to school. There's a line in the Diamond Sutra, abiding nowhere, let the heart arise. Don't fix your heart onto any single thing, not the praise, not the insult, not the outcome, and yet stay fully engaged, fully here. That's the transcendent practice, lived inside an ordinary Tuesday. And the first half, confirm the way in living, reminds us the teaching isn't real until it's tested in actual life. A truth you've only heard is a rumor. A truth you've lived is yours.
So every annoying, ordinary moment is actually where the teaching gets confirmed. The mountain isn't somewhere I have to escape to. It's the kitchen sink on a Tuesday night.
The kitchen sink is the mountain. That's the heart of this whole tradition. Practice doesn't ask you to leave your life. It asks you to wake up inside it. And now the eighth line, the line the whole teaching has been climbing toward. Heart, do not forget. Let the true master run the house. Heart, do not lose your way.
Keep the heart that rises clear of the dust. Let the true master run the house. Friends, I want to slow all the way down here.
The true master of the house. Who is that? Because honestly, most days my house feels like it's run by whoever's yelling loudest inside my head.
That's the most honest thing anyone could say, and it's exactly the human condition this line is naming. Most of us, most of the time, have a house full of noisy guests, fears, cravings, opinions, moods, and not one of them is the actual owner. They've just taken the controls while the master was looking away. But the master never moved out. 2,000 years ago, a teacher was asked where to find the divine, and the people kept looking to the sky, to the temple, to somewhere out there. And he said, "The kingdom of God is within you." Not out there, within. What you're searching the world for is sitting quietly at the center of your own heart, waiting.
So when I lose my temper, or spiral in traffic, or spin out over one careless remark, that's not the master. That's a guest who grabbed the wheel.
That's a guest who grabbed the wheel. And here's the good news hidden in that. Between whatever happens to you and how you answer it, there's a small, sacred space. And that space is yours. Marcus Aurelius knew this from the inside. He was a Roman emperor carrying the weight of a whole empire, and at night, he wrote private notes just to steady his own heart. One of them was this: "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He had every reason to believe the outside world was running his life, the wars, the betrayals, the endless demands. But he kept coming back to the one thing that was truly his: the mind that watches, the one that chooses. That's what he's pointing at. Not the slow line or the cold message, which you can't control, but the one who meets them. That one is the master's seat. Every time you notice a thought instead of becoming it, the master quietly sits back down. You don't have to fight the guests. You just have to remember who actually lives there.
I just got quiet. Because I think I've spent years assuming the loudest voice in my head was me. And it never was.
It never was. And the last half line guards the door. Keep the heart that rises clear of the dust. Notice, it doesn't say leave the dusty world. It says rise clear of it while you're standing right in the middle of it. Same as the hermit who never leaves home. Stay in the traffic, stay in the family, stay in the work, and let the master, not the dust, be the one in charge. Now, Jigong Living Buddha didn't only leave us this teaching. He also left a holy song to carry it deeper, and it's called 10,800 Years of Carefree Bliss. And the song comes to us in 2 verses. Let's let it wash over us more gently than the lines we've been reading. A song doesn't argue with you, it just sings what's already true.
Before we hear it, what does the name actually mean?
2 halves, and both of them matter. 10,800 years is the span of the White Sun era, the age we are living in right now. And carefree bliss, Xiao Yao, comes straight out of Zhuangzi. Friends, in his chapter on free and easy wandering, Zhuangzi first shows us the great peng bird, who needs the wind piled up beneath it before it can climb. Then he shows us Liezi, who could ride the wind itself and looked completely free. But Zhuangzi says he was still waiting on something. He still needed the wind. And that is exactly what Zhuangzi wants us to catch. Most of what we call freedom is waiting on something. We feel at ease when we have the position, when someone approves of us, when things go the way we wanted them to go. Take the wind away, and the freedom collapses on the spot. So the real Xiao Yao, he says, belongs to the one who rides what is true in heaven and earth and wanders into the boundless, a freedom that waits on nothing at all.
Friends, that is what this song is singing. Not a place you arrive at after you die and finally get to enjoy yourself. It is what you taste the moment you unclench the hand that has been grabbing outward and bring your heart back home. An ease that doesn't depend on one single external thing.
I'd love that. Where does the first verse begin?
The first verse opens at the source. It sings of a true teacher pointing to an inner gate and of the highest truth being grasped through realization, not handed over like an object, but recognized from inside. Then it says something tender. Everyone already carries the way within. Buddha after Buddha has only ever passed on this same original heart. So the verse isn't describing something rare and far off. It's describing what's already in you. From there it turns to daily life. Walk the great way honestly. Hold steady to what heaven gave you. And when the tests come, let yourself be refined like something precious. And right at its center is a line that could be the twin of where we began. Constantly reflect, turn the light back around, and the dust of the world won't disturb you. Turn the light back around. Instead of forever shining your attention out onto everyone else, you turn it back to look at the one who's looking.
That's the very first line of the teaching, sung. Gather the mind back home. Watch your own heart. And somehow, it's so much softer as a song.
It is. And the verse keeps growing more precise until it names the very thing we've been circling. See through it. It all begins from a single thought rising, and passing. That's just impermanence calling. The whole storm begins with one small thought you mistook for yourself. And then the verse ends almost like a confession set to music. Before, I didn't know. I just kept running in circles, life after life. But in this life, I can wake and walk straight through birth and death. The whole first verse is that one inward turn, the journey home, sung in a single breath.
And the second verse? When I first heard it, the part about tests actually scared me. It says the test questions are thrown down everywhere. It made life sound like a trap.
I understand that fear. And the second verse answers it so gently. It opens with the oldest question. What is the best thing in the world? We go searching down every confused road. When, the song says, you receive the three treasures the moment you find the way, and never needed to search outward at all. Everything you were hunting for was waiting within. Then it faces the tests head on. Through 1,000 troubles and 10,000 trials, you are never toppled. And the test questions fall everywhere, into the call on hold, the spilled cup, the line that won't move. Each one a small exam. Right now, who's running the house? True gold doesn't fear the fire, the verse promises. The tests were never punishment. They're the furnace that proves the gold was always real.
I have a real one for this. When I'm exhausted, working late, I start thinking, why am I making life this hard? Does any of this even matter? And then I remembered that exact line, true gold doesn't fear the fire. And it hit me. Even the exhaustion was refining me. The tiredness wasn't in the way of the practice. It was the practice.
That's it exactly. And near its close, the verse offers the gentlest instruction for the furnace. To return home, purify the heart, and want a little less. Not a grand renunciation, just carrying less so the fire has less to burn. And then it lands right where the teaching landed. Listen to where that carefree bliss actually lives. When the time comes, return home and enjoy 10,800 years of carefree bliss. That bliss isn't a prize waiting after we die. It begins the moment the true master sits back down in his own house, today.
Want less, so there's less to burn. That's almost a relief. Not give up everything, just stop carrying what you don't need. And if anyone wants to sit with the whole song themselves, We've put 10,800 years of Carefree Bliss in the description below. It's worth a slow, quiet listen.
So let me leave you with a question, and I'm not going to answer it for you. Right now, in this very moment as you listen, who is running the house? Is it the master, that quiet, steady one who can watch a thought without becoming it? Or is it a guest who grabbed the wheel while you weren't looking? Just sit with that. You don't have to fix anything. Just look.
And maybe a small thing to actually try this week?
Here's the challenge. And make it small. This week, the very next time you feel a thought grab the wheel, in traffic, mid-text, at the kitchen sink, don't argue with it, and don't scold yourself for it. Just do two things. Notice the thought, and then notice who's noticing. That's it. Then, come tell us in the comments what you found in that gap. We read every one, and we'd love to know who showed up when you looked.
I'm going to do it the very next time I'm stuck on hold. I already know it's coming for me.
And if today's time together gave you something, please like this, subscribe to Voice of Heavenly Tao, and pass it along to someone who's been searching outward for a peace that's been waiting inside them the whole time. That's how these words find the people who need them. What I've learned, I share with you here. If there is anything I've explained wrongly or unskillfully, I sincerely ask the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for their compassion and forgiveness. With deep gratitude for the grace of heaven and virtue of teachers. Thank you, dear friends. Until next time.
Thank you all so much. See you next time.